Hello and welcome to The Sleeve Chef. My name is Jana Wolff and I'm the dietitian from the Comprehensive Obesity Management Program. We have a very special show tonight. We have our two guest taste testers, Nancy and Chris, and we have, of course, our very special sleeve chef.
Good evening, everyone.
We also have one other guest, Dr. Friesen, who will be coming on in just a moment. First, we're going to introduce our guest taste testers. Nancy, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us when you got your surgery, which one you got, and one of your non-scale victories?
Well, hi, my name is Nancy. I had a gastric sleeve in December 2015, lost over 70 pounds. One of my non-scale victories are finally feeling good in my clothes. I was like, I can be kind of sexy.
I love it. All right. And Chris?
Chris, I had the sleeve about almost a year and a half ago, and I went down 10 pant sizes.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's amazing. Great job.
So the thrift store is my favorite place now.
Yes. All right. Well, our guest taste testers are going to step on off right now, and we're going to have our first guest, Dr. Friesen, come on up.
All right.
And before we start, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're cooking tonight?
Yeah, guys. So we have some really, really exciting dishes this evening. Two of my personal favorites. We're going to do some classically French-inspired dishes this evening. The first one, from a very popular movie, Ratatouille. I'm sure you've heard of it. So this is a very, very basic, very simple vegetable dish. Really healthy, really flavorful. The second, it's actually from Provence, France. And then the second dish we're going to do is inspired by the gentleman here. He is from Lyon, France, which you may or may not know. Basically the culinary capital of the world. Very close behind Paris, but arguably more of a culinary capital than Paris is, which is quite a feat. So we're going to do a salad Lyonnaise, which is a warm salad that we're going to dress with some turkey bacon. We're going to do with an over-easy egg, and we're going to top that with some sautéed chicken. Healthy, delicious, flavorful.
Sounds
really
beautiful.
Going to enjoy this dish.
Yes,
Yeah,
so it's going to
absolutely.
be low carb, high protein, and this is our very own Dr. Friesen from our comp program.
Hi, guys.
Why don't you start by cutting up some veggies, and while you're doing that, Dr. Friesen, tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been doing some bariatric surgery.
Before I answer that question, I have to say Baltimore is probably number 3 after Paris. And Lyon.
For the
Perfect.
Definitely
Exactly.
For culinary?
Oh yes, definitely. Especially today.
Okay.
Not New York.
No, I've actually been at GBMC for about 5 years now.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So me and Dr. Bobek actually started on the same day.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
We were actually on orientation at the same time.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
So-
great. So you do other surgeries, right?
I do actually, yeah. I do about half bariatrics and half general surgery.
Okay.
So today I did all bariatrics, and the rest of the week I do gallbladders, hernias, colon
Great.
cancer, things like that.
The fun stuff.
Fun stuff like that, yep.
And I definitely know a couple of our patients that have gallbladder issues and hernia issues, so that's definitely something, if you ever have any questions, Dr. Friesen's the one to go to. Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in, let us know what you're thinking, and welcome everyone who's there to join us. I'm going to pull up my phone now. Okay. So what are you doing over here?
So I am mincing some garlic. So we're going to start off with a little minced garlic and some thinly sliced yellow onion.
So you're making the salad lyonnaise first? Or?
Making the ratatouille first.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you're going to do the garlic and onions?
Yep, exactly.
So grill the stuff first.
Yep, exactly.
Yes.
We're going to go ahead and do the onion. So cut the ends off here. Again, very carefully. Keep your fingers tucked back. And then you want to use that side knuckle. The side of the blade should go up against the side of that middle finger knuckle here. Right down the middle of the onion.
All right, and Missy says hi. Thank you
Missy.
for joining us. Loretta, Steven, and Stephanie.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you. So, do you have any favorite dishes that you cook at home?
Actually, I mean, I know you're going to think I'm making it up, but I actually love making ratatouille all the time.
Oh, great.
All right.
When I was growing up, it was spaghetti, but
Yeah. But I guess you could do it with some
vegetables.
yeah, some zucchini noodles,
Have
some
you guys ever made that here?
zucchini noodles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We do all of the replacements here. Now, we've also done cauliflower rice, and I happen to think that as a pasta replacement, a cauliflower rice is kind of nice, because it feels a little bit like a risotto.
Yeah,
So it's a good
agreed.
vehicle for any of this type of stuff, like tomatoey type of sauces.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a great point.
I have an announcement, and I'm sorry, Chris, but Chris has never tried eggplant before, so I am really excited to see what you think of it. It's a great veggie. It's a little bit tough to cook with if you're sauteing it in oil because it will just zip up all of that oil like a sponge. But if you're doing it like this in a sauce, then it's pretty good.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
we're going to go ahead and large dice this eggplant. So a couple things here. One, you want to be really careful, like I'm doing here. As you can see, I'm going really slowly when I'm cutting this zucchini, or cutting this eggplant up. And then two, again, it's going to go straight.
Yeah, you gotta watch those
Yep.
fingers.
Nice and slow, nice and steady. No need to rush this.
All right, and Kathy and Chanel and Harry joined us. Thank you. And Christy joined us. Thanks, guys. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to send them in, especially since we have our surgeon here, Dr. Friesen. So if you're just joining us, Dr. Friesen is joining us today. He's one of our surgeons at the COM program. Okay, and we do have a question from one of our tasters.
So I noticed that when you're cutting the eggplant, you don't peel off the skin. Are you supposed to?
That is a great question. You can if you'd like. I prefer it without, as I like a little bit of texture difference when I'm actually cooking eggplant.
So we were asked if the audience didn't hear why we're not cutting off the skin of the eggplant. And by the way, the skin provides so much nutrients. So think of the skin as like a fiber-rich. Anytime you see any of this color, so that purple, that's going to be antioxidants. It's called phytonutrients, and you only get that really in fruits and veggies. So that's always a good thing to keep on. Like for instance, apples. You know, some people peel the skin, and it's always good to keep the skin on.
Actually, one recipe that I love to make with eggplant is baba ganoush. Have you ever
Ooh,
made that?
baba
Love
ganoush.
baba
And it actually involves taking the skin off. What you do is you put it in the oven whole, and then the skin kind of just peels off magically.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yep.
It does.
It takes about 30 minutes,
Love
and
it.
then it just peels off, and then you just chop off the eggplant.
Such
with
a
some
great dish.
Tahini and lemon juice. It's
Do you know what
delicious.
I do with the skins when I make baba ganoush?
No.
I just eat them. I
So you
peel
just
them
eat
off
them?
and then I just eat
You
them.
just chop it in and
Yeah.
put it inside? So you get the
You
benefit, or-
could get like you could
Oh, you
get
do
some
it separately.
texture from that actually if you cut that off. But no, I just eat it separately. Pop it in, get those
The only
nutrients.
problem is finding the tahini. It's pretty hard sometimes to find it in the store.
Yes. Does everyone know what tahini is? It's a sesame paste. So it's almost like peanut butter, but made out of sesame
Delicious.
seeds.
It's probably okay, right?
So what I do with if you're gonna go all the way and get tahini or peanut butter or anything like that, you ever see the natural kind where you can just spill off all of the oil? That's a good way to do it if you're stuck with some natural tahini or peanut butter or something like that. But with our patients, and this is like the bane of my existence, I oftentimes tell them that peanut butter and nuts and seeds are really high in fat, good fats, but we often overeat them, right? So nothing's really great in large quantities.
Yeah, but usually don't eat very much baba ganoush stuff.
No.
It's
So baba ganoush, we're talking about this really rich, nice dip that you can use. You can dip your Quest protein chips in.
Yeah, it's this beautiful roasted eggplant dish.
Yes.
It is
You post
fantastic.
that on the website?
The baba ganoush.
Yeah.
If
Sure.
you have a great recipe,
Yeah.
I bet you all of our patients would love to see that.
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
We will.
And then let's see. Okay, we have a question from Kathy. Is the same true for zucchini? And I'm guessing that you're talking about the skin on zucchini. Absolutely, that green or yellow skin that you see on zucchini that has so many nutrients, and they're held right in the skin. So I would keep the skin on for everything, but you gotta wash it well, So if you wash it well, scrub it a little bit, you're good to go.
All right. Exactly. Great
Yeah.
point. So next up for our ratatouille here is we are going to do some zucchini. So as Jana had said, you definitely want to keep it washed if you're going to keep that skin on. We're going to
Yes.
julienne this zucchini.
Explain to us what julienne means.
Julienne, so it's a matchstick cut. So basically you want to go ahead and cut it about 1/4 of an inch thick, and then from here,
Actually, it was a zoom, so you could see exactly.
I know.
yeah. So
Yeah.
we've got our zucchini here, and we're just going to use a nice little
Yeah,
match to
very
cut. Really
thinly.
important. Yep. So line it up.
Now, Dr. Friesen, you grew up right in France, the hub of, you know,
Yes.
cooking
Culinary
and
world.
culinary world extraordinaire place. Now, is there anything? Did you learn about doing Julienne and everything like that when you were
Not
growing
really,
up?
not in that way. I mean, I think I learned how to cook basically from the way most people do, which is from my mom.
Oh, okay.
Actually, my dad is a better cook than my mom. honestly.
Your dad is a better
Yeah,
cook than your mom.
Yeah, much better.
Guess what? My husband's a better cook than me.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
he
it's
knows
not-
that.
No, but actually, it's true. There's a lot of famous chefs in Lyon. It's a very
Mhm.
famous town for very fancy cooking and also.
Yes.
Mm.
There's actually a very famous chef who just died this year. He's the one
Oh,
that.
yes.
He's the one that.
What was his name again?
Paul Bocuse?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
one
he's
that.
a little known guy.
Yeah.
You know, didn't not much influence in the
Well,
culinary world.
He's pretty much the guy that the Ratatouille cartoon was. You
Yep.
know, the cook
Oh,
was in
wow.
that. Yeah, that's.
So we're almost honoring him then in a way.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah.
I guess we could say that.
Yeah, that's great.
Who'd have thunk it? Go ahead, Nancy.
So how long do you cook that for? Do you just cook it until it's soft? Or?
Great question. That's exactly how long you cook it for. So you're really sautéing it. So sautéing means little or no color. And so when you're sautéing it, you want to just basically until the onions are translucent. What you want to be careful of too is the garlic, not to burn it. Because once you burn garlic, that flavor is just going to carry over. So if you burn garlic in the pan, throw it out and start over. So that's where keeping our pan at a nice medium heat and really controlling that heat is really critical to this process.
Now, this is something that I have questions on. And I don't even know really what my question is, but when I am throwing garlic into the pan, because it always goes in first, right?
Typically.
Typically. But then it's in there for the longest, so it tends to burn. How do I avoid that? Do you know what I mean?
I do. It's
Okay.
all about as you add more ingredients in, the temperature of the pan is going to drop. So you'll actually
Okay.
have a lower temperature.
Why? Because everything's absorbing the heat?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah,
things,
Yeah.
things would have to cook the hottest heat on, but yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it looks like that eggplant is cooking up very nicely.
Oh yeah. Eggplant. I think it was Janet. You had said that eggplant is just gonna. It's like a sponge. It's just gonna soak up everything. So that's why we're gonna add a little bit more oil to our pan, a little more extra virgin olive oil to our pan after adding our eggplant in.
Yeah, so you can always, if you're watching how much oil you're putting in, you can always use a spray. They have olive oil sprays now too, so you can use like minimal. Oh, and Jennifer has joined us. Samuel, thank you. All right, and if anyone that just joins us have any questions, please feel free.
All right.
Great,
So for our
yes.
pepper here,
Beautiful
we're
pepper.
going
right?
through. Yeah, it's beautiful red bell pepper.
Yeah, I was telling him it looks so beautiful, it almost looks fake.
Yeah.
But it is real.
Where do you get your
I can
veggies?
attest.
Right. So I'm just going through and eliminating this pith in here, the skin or the inside pith here of the peppers. I'm getting rid of these
Is
seeds.
there a reason why? I mean, can you eat that stuff?
You can.
Does
It's
it
just
actually taste bad? Do you think? Or, I
it's a
never
little bit bitter.
Bitter,
Yeah, that's the main reason why people remove it.
I always remove it too, but I was just.
Yeah, and the texture's a little weird. It's a little chewy.
not
exactly.
crunchy.
Yeah.
Yep. Precisely.
Okay,
Because
so.
I know in hot peppers the seeds are what's hot, right?
Yes.
It's
Well,
actually.
maybe, wait, you tell me. I'm saying
I was
yes,
going
and
to
I
say
don't really
it's
know.
actually not the seed, so it's the capsaicin, and that is actually inside of the flesh of the pepper itself.
Oh,
So that's
Yes.
actually this part here. That's why
Okay.
whenever you handle hot peppers, you either want to do it with like gloves on,
Yeah.
or you want to wash your
Wash
hands
them
immediately
immediately.
afterward, and you probably want to wait to shower or do anything,
Just
touch your
don't
kid's
touch your
eyes
eyes,
or anything
yeah.
like that.
And that capsaicin also has some health benefits as well.
Yeah.
arthritis.
Okay, and Agnes joined us. Hey, Agnes. Okay, there's a question that I do not know the answer, and I didn't even know this was a thing.
Sure.
Do you use the male or female pepper?
That is a great question. I have never actually heard of a difference between a male and a female pepper.
Okay.
You don't know the answer?
No, actually, I don't. I will willingly
Aren't
admit
they all
that
female?
I know.
Aren't they all female?
That I don't know. I do not know. I don't want to misgender the pepper either. It's very
Okay,
important.
yes. Now, I have a very special guest today, our intern from Sodexo, who is going to be a dietitian soon, and we have a comment?
Yeah, I saw on Facebook that people think, I don't know if it's true, but they think that like the little like nubbins on the bottom of the pepper, if there's 4, they're either a girl, or a female, or a male, and if there's 3, it's like the opposite. So I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard.
Wow.
I just confirmed it with Google, you know.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
So let me just repeat that if you guys didn't know.
The
So
female bell pepper.
the female bell pepper has 4
Bumps.
bumps
We'll call it bumps.
bumps on the bottom, and then the male pepper has 3.
There you go. Who
The
knew?
female-
So
the
we
female
already
has
cut
more
it up,
seeds.
and we'll never know.
And we'll never know.
Okay, I'm sorry, Kathy,
We don't
That is a
discriminate.
great question. Thank you.
but we learned something today. Yes,
I guess we'll play a little game called Stump the CIA grad.
stump the pepper.
Seriously.
I bet
Well,
they
that-
taste the same, personally. That's my opinion.
Yeah, yeah.
It says, Google says that the female bell peppers are sweeter than the
Huh.
male.
There you go.
Go figure.
We're gonna have to check on
Stock
that.
that one away for trivia.
So female bell peppers are sweeter than the males. You hear that? Okay.
Oh, we're talking about bell pepper.
Who wrote that article?
So this already looks like a beautiful, colorful dish. We are eating the rainbow tonight, which as a
Exactly.
dietitian, I am so happy about. We have greens, reds, yellows, all of the different colors from the vegetables that give us our amazing vitamins and minerals.
And I definitely recommend that you go to Provence. It's
Oh.
even though I'm
Are you
from
going to
France.
take us?
No, if you want, let's go.
Okay.
There you go.
No, I was actually there last year with my wife. She can tell you.
Oh, beautiful.
And it's even though I'm from France, it's the most beautiful place. I think it's one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
just so
it's-
beautiful. There's the lavender. There's fields everywhere.
Yeah,
there's,
my wife Mary and I went
smells are
to
very good.
Paris for our honeymoon.
Oh, wow.
And she actually is a French teacher,
Yeah.
so she speaks the language fluently. It's actually the least I spoke in my entire life. In our marriage
Wow.
thus far was in France. It was wonderful. We were sitting there and just
And
Yep.
she did all the talking for you.
All of it.
That was wonderful. Now, what was
Hi, sweetie, love you.
what was one of your favorite things that you ate in Provence?
Oh my god! I mean, to be
Can you
honest,
remember, or was it
I'm
just
trying to
all
remember
good?
what I mean. They have basically the vegetables when you go down in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
All the vegetables are super fresh.
Wow.
You go to the market on the Wednesday and Friday.
Nailed
and
it.
you can find any vegetable you can think of. Probably like 30 different species of tomatoes.
Oh, that's
peppers,
wonderful.
I mean, it's
And
basically
definitely,
you can cook everything.
yeah, I would say too, like when you travel, please go and eat local. Don't you can go to the McDonald's and go like one day or for one meal, but eat as local as you
local.
possibly can.
Find
So,
out what
so
the local
important.
people do.
Exactly. Go
and
to the
do
market,
that.
pick up some ingredients. It's so important.
Yes.
Basically, you go to the market and based on what they have that looks good, then you make up your recipe. Yeah. So that's,
Precisely.
Okay.
All
And
right,
Anna
guys.
Maria says hi. Thank you. And Christy and Kiona, thank you for joining us.
We have just been sitting here building these flavors, right? It's a really
Yes.
important idea in cooking is that you want to add a little extra virgin olive oil to the pan. We add our garlic, we add our onions, we saute those, add a little salt and pepper to that. Add our eggplant in. You'll see that as that's sauteing, I'm cutting up the next ingredient, getting ready to help move the dish along.
Yes, and it smells beautiful too.
Oh, yeah.
so what spices are you putting in there?
So I'm going to add a little bit of oregano, a little bit of thyme, and some ground coriander. is what's
Ground
going in
coriander.
here.
What's the
Which is
other
interesting.
word for that?
Ground coriander, cilantro.
Or, yeah, cilantro. Quick quiz.
I already got
I'm
stumped
tough.
once today, man.
Yeah.
I think normally when you're making,
Yeah, go ahead.
use herbe de Provence,
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
harder to
Oh,
find.
yes.
It has probably a few other ingredients in there, but it's harder to find.
I think there is
Exactly.
lavender in there, right?
Probably.
Or
There's a little
herbs
bit
de
of everything.
Provence
Yep.
we're talking. Yeah, great. And we have a
Exactly.
question from Chris.
How important is seasoning your dish? Or
Seasoning?
Continuously seasoning.
How important is continuously seasoning your
That
dish?
is a great question. From a culinary standpoint, it's critical. You want to be mindful about what you're cooking. So, for example, if you're going to cooking something like a sauce that's going to reduce, you don't want to continuously season. You want to wait toward the end and then season, because that flavor is just going to concentrate down. So what you think of is might be like, oh, that's perfect now. That's going to reduce by 50% and concentrate that flavor. So you're going to have that sodium you think is perfect now is actually be too salty. With a particular dish like this, as I'm adding more
Starting to smell
ingredients,
really good.
yeah, as I'm adding more ingredients in, you'll see I'm adding a little bit more pepper, a little bit more salt as I'm building that flavor and building those ingredients up.
Nice. All right, and Yonya says hi, hello, and Joy is asking what dish we're making, and this is going to be our ratatouille. We're going to make the salad. We're going to make a salad with some chicken on it.
Absolutely.
And we have Dr. Friesen, and we have 2 guest taste testers, so you're in for a treat. And then Anna Maria asks just a general nutrition question of how much water we should be drinking per day, and we give the minimum of 64 ounces for everyone. But you can go well above that, and you can also get all of your you can get your fluids in from water and from any sugar-free drinks that don't have carbonation, sugar, alcohol, or caffeine in them. Okay? And Kelly, thank you for joining us. Thanks, guys. Good questions.
Look how bright and beautiful this thing is.
Lovely. Okay, so we're going to leave that for after. That'll be our side dish. Is that typically a main dish or a side dish?
It's usually a main dish.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Is there a particular protein that usually goes with that?
Oh, well, I can tell you what I like.
Yeah, what do you
Please,
like?
yeah.
Lamb.
Lamb.
Oh my god, yes.
How do you cook the lam? Do you grill it
I
or?
usually just grill it, yeah. With some olive oil. I know probably you shouldn't be using olive oil because it burns.
Lamb loin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
But usually what I'll do is take some piece of garlic, cut them in little pieces, and then stab the meat.
Oh wow.
As a surgeon,
That's,
you know.
I was
Yes.
gonna say,
But
you're okay with a knife?
Yeah,
You do well?
you can do things. So you basically make little pockets, and then you take these little pieces of garlic, like stuff them inside the lamb.
Oh, that's
and then-
beautiful. That's
and
wonderful.
You grill it. The taste of the garlic gets in the meat, and it's just delicious.
And I
with
suppose.
some mustard, with some Dijon
Oh
mustard.
yes, Dijon mustard.
The
Dijon
spicy
mustard
one.
is like the best. You could put that on any protein.
Agreed.
Don't you say? And with the garlic, putting that inside of any of the meat, you could do that with anything: chicken,
Yeah.
beef, anything, pork.
And that way it doesn't burn.
Right.
The problem that you
Oh, I love. Yes, my problem. Okay.
All right, so we're going to start off by crisping up some turkey bacon. First and foremost. Pardon.
Okay. Is too much water bad for people with kidney stones? I would say
Great question.
the opposite.
Yeah, I would say it's probably good to drink a lot of fluids.
Yeah, you want to drink even more fluids.
Yeah.
And is grapeseed oil okay to use? Yeah, really, most oils are okay to use just in smaller amounts. You want to follow the serving size typically. And across the board with all fats, whether it's grapeseed oil, coconut oil, olive oil, doesn't matter. It's all going to be 1 tablespoon as a serving size, and that's about 100 calories. So think about it. If you pour on like much more than that, you're adding on more like hundreds of calories to your meal. Yes.
I have a question about coconut oil, and I don't know if this is true, but someone was telling me the other day that coconut oil is bad for people who have like inflammation problems.
So coconut oil, we have a question about coconut oil. If it's bad for people with any inflammation problems. Coconut oil has been touted as this really like superfood, right? But at the end of the day, it's still a saturated fat. It is solid at room temperature. So for most people, this is still a saturated fat. You can cook with small amounts of it. It mostly has something called medium chain triglycerides, like small amounts of those, which are the health beneficial types of fats in it. But there's small amounts of it. You can get it elsewhere, like if you actually bought MCT oil, which is like the best type to buy, and not the actual coconut oil. Coconut oil has been like, they have the best marketing team out there to tout coconut oil. But again, everything in moderation is okay, you know? All right, and we have one more question.
When you're talking about water, what are some things that we can have that count toward our water intake, and what are some things that don't count toward our water intake?
Yes, this is a great question. So Chris is asking what can count towards our fluid intake and what doesn't count towards fluid intake. And this is a hot and heavy debate on the Facebook group, so I am excited to answer this question. Now, anything without protein that's clear, that you can see through, will count towards your fluid goals. It also has to have 0 caffeine. because when you're having caffeine, it's a diuretic, right? So it's not going to count towards your fluid because you're releasing fluid when you drink a lot of caffeine. So things like Vitamin Water Zero, Crystal Light, Propel, True Lemon, any of those sugar-free drinks that really have not much in it, just the sugar-free and the flavor, okay? And then anything like Protein 2O or Premier Clear or Isopure that has protein in it, that can actually dehydrate you if you count that towards your fluids, if you have too much of it, because you have to flush some of the byproducts of the protein breakdown out. Okay, and we have a comment.
The Propel water and the flavored waters are amazing because I didn't think I would like them at all, and like all the flavors are really, really good.
Yes, so some of the flavors for Chris are very good for the Propel, Crystal Light. Any of those things are very good, especially if you have trouble getting water in. Some people after surgery have trouble getting water in because sometimes it feels heavy or it just doesn't feel right. So if you add a little bit of that Propel, that's good. Now, what do we have going on here?
Yeah, so we've got some turkey bacon cooking over here. We've got the beginnings of our salad starting here. So this is our salad lyonnaise starting. So we've got some extra virgin olive oil we've got into our pan. So this is basically going to be a warm salad is the best way to think about this. We've got our shallots cooking in our extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to basically build the vinaigrette here in the pan itself. Then I'm going to go over top of our baby spinach and our baby arugula here.
And in the ingredient list that you guys are going to see on Facebook, there's frisée.
Yes, exactly.
So frisée is just like a more of a bitter kind of like
it's a little
feathery,
it's very curly
kind of lettuce. But we couldn't find it. So
exactly. So
you
we
use a
substituted.
replacement.
Yeah. We substituted.
Substitute. Okay.
Exactly. All right. So now we get to the fun stuff, to the chicken.
Yeah. And while you're doing that, I am curious, Dr. Friesen.
Yes.
Why don't you tell us some of your favorite parts of the job? I'm always curious about that. As a surgeon, right?
I mean, I have to say that my favorite part is seeing patients about 6 months to a year after they've had their bariatric surgery.
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday I got to give 2 t-shirts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm actually running out of them. I have
Okay.
only one left.
We got to give
So I
2
have to print
t-shirts
some more.
yesterday. That's awesome.
That's pretty
great.
fun.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, so they both have lost, one has lost 132 pounds.
Wow.
The other one, 109, so yeah, it was,
So over 100 pounds, both of them.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
that was a lot of fun.
Wow. Beautiful. All right, we have another question.
How do you get your shirt? Like, what are the guidelines to get your shirt?
How do you get
To
your
get a
shirt?
shirt. I don't know if all the surgeons have the same criteria. Mine are you have to have either down to a BMI of 30 or lose 100 pounds. So for most people, you know, that's the criteria.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen other surgeons use other? I think that's what everyone does.
It's gonna be 30 or below, and then 100 pounds from your start weight. A lot of people ask, is it from my surgery weight? Is it from my start weight? And I believe it's from the start weight.
That's what I use.
Yes, yeah. It's only fair because you start out the program, and then all of a sudden you're doing all of these nutrition changes, you know, before your surgery. So. People tend to lose a little bit of weight before surgery.
Absolutely.
And we have Anna Marie is asking if we are at Channel 2. Yes, we are. WMAR. We are here. And Joe and Brian, thank you for joining us. And Anna Maria, when your dietitian told you not to use coconut oil, you can basically use, like I said before, you know, with any oil, with any fat, you can use a small amount of it as long as you're using, you know, the small amount of the 1 serving size of a tablespoon. Yeah, we have, did you have a comment or question?
It smells amazing in here.
Oh, we have smell-o-vision over here.
Exactly.
Our taste testers are saying that it smells great. That is
I have
awesome.
a question for the sleep chef though.
Yeah,
Yes.
Because
please.
he made his vinaigrette look so easy, but actually the proportions are really important.
You're right.
So how did you decide how much oil, how
That
much
is-
mustard, how much vinegar? Because my mom makes the perfect vinaigrette, but that's one thing I haven't learned how to make the perfect vinaigrette.
Oh, let's hear
So,
it.
great question. So, doctor, so when it comes to making vinaigrette, there's a couple of key things. One, it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So you want 1 part vinegar, 3 parts oil. is the first thing. So that's, for example, like 1 cup of vinegar to 3 cups of oil. That's
Okay.
the first thing. Because again, it's sort of balancing out that sour tartness of a vinegar. And then for the mustard, that's really sort of a taste. That's going to
Okay.
really, thanks, I got it. Yep. So that's really going to be a matter of balancing out.
But you still put salt and vinegar. I mean, salt and pepper.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, still do a little salt and pepper. That's never going to hurt. And then also for the mustard, that's really going to be a matter of a couple of things. One, the strength of the mustard that you're using. So if you're using something that's really got a lot of it's really hot and it's really a really strong flavor profile, you can back off on that. If you're using this sort of a sweeter mustard, you can add a little bit more. Again, that's balancing out that.
And what would you consider the Dijon
Dijon
mustard?
is
Is
sweeter
that, like,
mustard.
Sweeter?
Typically, Dijon
Yeah.
tends to be a sweeter mustard.
Yeah.
The one that you buy in France is usually very spicy.
Absolutely,
Oh.
yeah,
The
exactly.
ones that they sell in the States is not.
Is- Right, exactly.
Probably wouldn't be considered
Yeah.
Dijon mustard.
No,
You
right,
can't handle it in the
exactly.
Well, I think the problem is the shrimp. Or, it just loses some of its. Just
Oh,
from
is
the
that,
time-
you think
I
that
think,
that's
that's what I think because
interesting?
usually even you can get French Dijon mustard in the States, but you
Yeah.
look at the expiration date. It was made like several months
Oh,
or years
wow.
before. I think it kind of loses some of its kick, or maybe
Yeah.
maybe they just don't think Americans can handle it.
Well, important question, is Grey Poupon really a French product?
No.
There it is. It's
There it is. I had
marketed
to
very
ask.
well.
I had to ask, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe it was originally. I don't know, but you can't find it in France, so it's probably not.
Right, so it's probably not authentic.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, the one you can buy here is called Mai, M-A-I-L-L-E. That one is very popular in France,
Oh, nice. Okay.
and you can find
How do you
it.
spell it again?
M-A-I-L-L-E. Mai.
Okay, my.
Yeah,
very
you
nice.
can definitely find it.
Okay. So we're making those thinly sliced
Chicken breast.
chicken breasts.
Exactly.
This is going to provide our protein today.
Absolutely.
Do you have any bariatric friendly recipes that you love to cook at home besides the ratatouille?
I'll get back to you.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank
see?
you.
Good
Do you have any
question.
ideas?
For bariatric friendly recipes, I got a few.
Yeah.
I've been known to do a few. Okay, guys. So we've got our just quick recap. So we've got our what do you call it? Our salad lyonnaise here with our baby spinach, baby arugula, and then Dr. Friesen brought a great point about making a vinaigrette. You also want to consider both the type of lettuce that you're going to use, because that's going to impact your vinaigrette, and then also the amount of vinaigrette to the amount of salad that you're actually, amount of lettuce that you're actually using as well is very, very critical. So you don't want to have an underdressed salad, you don't want to have an overdressed salad
Right.
either.
And if you're just doing your own salad, just your portion, typically across the board, the serving size is always going to be 2 tablespoons
Yep.
for everything. Okay, and that's a good way to kind of watch the calorie intake as well.
Actually, I just
Alright.
thought of what I usually do since, I don't know, probably some of you know, but I have chickens.
Oh, nice.
So
Wow.
actually, we don't eat them though. We only eat the eggs, at least so far.
Okay, did
so
everyone hear
healthy.
that Dr. Friesen has chickens?
Yeah, we actually used to have 8 chickens, but one of them got eaten by a fox.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he didn't even eat the fox, the chicken. He just left it behind. So
Oh.
Oh, that is a
Oh,
waste.
But anyway, the bariatric friendly thing that we make is eggs because we have lots of eggs.
Right,
Every
right.
day we have
Oh,
7
they
eggs.
must taste so good.
Yeah,
There's nothing like a good
I'll bring
fresh
some to
egg.
the office one of these days.
Oh,
so you can-
wow.
I will be happy to take some off your hands.
But so
Now-
making just any kind of omelet or
Yeah.
I started making some poached eggs. Those are really fun to make.
Yes.
A little vinegar in the water, heat up the water, not boiling.
Kind of
Crack
hard
the
at
egg in there.
first. If
It's
you're,
not easy.
Poaching
Yeah.
is all about temperature.
And you have to.
yeah.
So that's really the key because poaching is literally a temperature, so it's 170 degrees.
Oh, okay.
That's what you want your water temperature to be at, and then when you add the vinegar to it, the vinegar helps the egg white coagulate.
Oh, wow.
That's why you're adding vinegar to
Okay.
that.
I actually saw it on MasterChef Junior.
Yes.
My kids love
Yeah.
that show.
Oh,
And
that's
so
great.
we actually had a
Fantastic show.
contest trying to make the best poached eggs possible. And
That's
It's
awesome.
not easy.
That is great. So do your kids like to cook
Oh
also?
yeah. Well, they don't cook that much, but they love watching that.
Okay.
It would
So
be
they're
too dangerous.
channeling it. Yeah. That's great. Oh, that's really fun. So you have fresh eggs, 8 chickens.
And
Who
we have,
takes care of the
we have
chickens?
bees too.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Tell us more. You have bees, so you have honey. I'm
Yes.
assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
Although I started last year, so I only had a little bit. This year I'm gonna have a lot though.
Wow.
I'll be able to share this year.
Who takes care of those bees? Do you?
They take care of themselves.
Do you ever have
The
to
bees
put on?
take care of me
The bees take care of
Yeah.
you.
because they basically make the honey.
Wow.
You don't have to do
So you
it.
never have to stick your hand in.
I mean, you check on them just to make sure they're okay.
You wear a suit?
Just the head.
Do you ever get any bees in the house?
Yeah, once in a while. Yeah, but they don't live very long.
What about the chickens? Do you get those in the house too?
We just let them run around the yard.
Oh wow, so free range, everything.
Yeah.
Okay,
They can get
beautiful.
some worms and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
That's great.
awesome.
Yeah, but those eggs are
Cool.
delicious.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Kathy has a great question. And this is a fantastic question for most people. How do you cook your chicken without it becoming dry?
That is a great question. So a couple things. One, the cooking method is really important. So if you're going to, for example, roast it in an oven, you want to make sure that so chicken becomes, I'll start here. So chicken becomes dry when you overcook it. All poultry should be cooked to 165 degrees Fahrenheit with the exception of duck. Duck is something that you can eat at a medium rare, medium temperature. All poultry should be cooked to 165 degrees. And the mistake people make typically is that when they stick a thermometer in the thigh of the bird and it comes up to 155 and they go, oh no, it's not ready yet. So when you want to pull it out at about 150 to 155, because it's going to rise by about, the internal temperature is going to rise by about rise by about 10, 15 degrees after you remove it from the oven.
As it's resting, right?
As it's resting,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay. So
That's
when you
really
take
a
it
key, right? And you really want to hit the thigh of the bird when you're looking for a proper temperature.
And then what about just this? Like we're just cooking some cutlets basically at this
Yeah.
point.
So this is going to be the key here is going to be again temperature control.
Okay, just not overcooking. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
That's going to be really the
I
key
think
thing
it's
here.
so hard to not overcook it. Yeah. We have a question.
About the eggs, are different types of eggs different nutrition values?
It really depends on the size of the egg, right? So the bigger the size, the more you're going to get out of it in terms of protein, fat, vitamins,
What's
and
how many
minerals.
calories are in an egg? How much protein?
Well, you get about 6 to 7 grams of protein per egg, depending on the size, and then about 70 calories per egg. But a lot of people think, oh, let me take out the yolk because it's all fat. But guess what? You take out the yolk, you take out half of the protein, too. So, and a lot of the beta carotene and all of those nice vitamins and minerals that you get in there.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're trying to watch your fat, that's fine. You can always take them out, and if you don't like them, you can take them out. But you are losing half the protein. Okay. And then we have Antoine, hello, and Angel. Thank you so much for coming on. Okay. And you guys are more than welcome to ask questions as we move along. And anyone that's missed the beginning of the program, we are doing Ratatouille. What is the salad's name?
Salade Lyonnaise.
Yes, I always get nervous that I'm going to pronounce it wrong. And so it's a warm salad, which I'm excited about.
Absolutely.
Yes, too often I get sick of the cold, crunchy salad.
And plus you can't eat romaine lettuce right now, right? There's a recall.
Right, guys, you have to be aware. There's a romaine lettuce recall right now for E. coli, so just be aware of that and don't buy romaine. And if you have it right now, throw it away.
You
FYI.
ate some today.
Our taste tester ate some today, so we shall see.
She looks okay so far.
You look great.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually ate some over the weekend. I have to admit it, but it was very well washed, so I don't know. But it should be okay.
All right.
Okay, these look great, nice and
Yeah.
brown.
Absolutely.
And then I think, do we just have the egg left?
Yep, that's it. I think we're going to just finish up with our chicken here, and then we're ready.
Okay, great.
So I noticed you're grilling. There's some of the grilled garlic has stayed at the bottom to give some flavor to the chicken.
Exactly.
Oh
Did
yes.
you do that on purpose, or it's just a
A little bit.
the tricks of the trade?
Exactly.
Yeah. So if you didn't hear that, just having the garlic that we cooked from the ratatouille, that's going to infuse into the chicken, which is going to make it even yummier. Yes, and we have a question.
Is the wood cutting board a lot better than a plastic one?
This is
What was the
this is
question?
yours.
Is the wood cutting board better than a plastic?
So is
one?
wood
Or do you
cutting
use
board
preference?
better than plastic, or do they serve different purposes?
It really serves different purposes. I mean, I think if you're going to do any sort of professional cooking, people tend to have, people typically have plastic cutting boards only because they're not going to chip like a wood cutting board would. Or if you're going to like hit, the knives hitting it, it could cause marks or streaks in the indentations in the wood, and that's where the bacteria will live, basically. So that's something else really important to consider. But really, in the end, it just comes down to personal preference, honestly.
I think for me, like I usually keep one for raw meat
yeah.
and one for vegetables because
Exactly.
Yeah,
I
and
think it's hard to clean all that,
it's hard
all
to.
the bacteria.
I would say something like, and even in nutrition school, we kind of learned about this a little bit. Just in terms of like where bacteria live, you want to use a plastic cutting board for any raw meats, and the wood because it's just easier to clean. Okay, so you're not going to have any like risk of salmonella or anything like that from the raw chicken. But the wood, great for everything else. Your veggies, your fruits, everything like that.
I have a question for you. Why is it that duck is different than chicken?
That
You
is a
said
great,
you can use raw duck. Like,
yeah,
why?
yeah. That's
Is it a
like,
cleaner bird or something? Or?
that's a great question. I wish I had an honest answer for it. I just think it's something. I was going to say. I imagine it's something at the molecular level, of the bird itself that people are comfortable eating it.
Yeah.
Rare.
I-
I mean, any.
I
you go out to
also
any.
wonder about the conditions that chickens
Maybe they're raised outdoors.
Yeah.
and or indoors in like really small coops, and there's like risk for infection and things like that. So
Yeah, I'm sure quality control would play a significant role. I've only really ever had duck's been the primary bird that I've had that's been anything below traditional well done.
okay, you know what? A great way to have like really tender chicken that's almost like on the border of raw, but it's not because it's internally cooked to the safe zone is sous vide.
There you go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually never done that.
So Dr. Bello likes to cook sous vide, and so does my husband. And I'm sure that you do as well. I think we've talked about sous vide in the past.
We have.
Yeah, so it's basically submersing like meat or veggies or anything like that in a bag in a bath of water, and it cooks it to like the perfect temperature because you can control it so well.
Right.
Then you sear it,
Right.
afterwards to get the browning.
But you have to
Exactly.
have a special machine that sucks the air out of the bag.
Yep,
Yes.
exactly. So you need to cryovac the bag first.
Yes.
Basically suck all the air out and give it in a vacuum.
Yes. In a vacuum, right? That's
So there's no
that's what it
oxygen.
means. Okay. So Anna Maria, the chef is a doctor too. No, this is the chef. This is the doctor.
Hi, guys.
But the doctor could be considered a chef in a way.
There you go, right? Yeah, he's got a little experience.
And
And
you
then
could probably
can
do
you-
surgery too.
Yeah, yeah, right.
And then Kionia asks, "What's your favorite recipe for fresh salmon?"
Ooh.
So I guess both of you, if you
Yeah,
have a
please.
good one.
Honestly, salmon, I just usually just put it in a glass pan and
Yep.
put some olive oil on it, maybe some
Yes.
lemon juice, and just put it in the oven. It's
I almost
it's
feel like
one of
there's
the
nothing
easiest-
better than just fresh, like
Yeah.
like garlic, any fresh herbs,
Yeah.
a little bit of olive oil, pepper.
It's hard to mess up salmon.
Yeah, unless you
Unless you leave it
overcook
too
it.
long,
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have any favorite one?
I love doing mine on papillote. To me, it's just such a simple
Now
cooking
remind
method.
us of what that means.
On papillote, so it means in paper is a literal translation. So you're basically steaming the salmon. So you take the salmon fillet and you put it onto a piece of parchment paper. You put some extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper on it, both sides. Typically some dill, and then some thinly sliced lemon slices and orange slices.
Oh, that sounds
Wrap it up,
wonderful.
and then stick it into the oven. And then it's basically going to steam the salmon, right? So it's gonna cook it really slow, and it's going to be really fresh, light, and
it'll keep all those nutrients right in there.
Exactly.
It's a very healthy way
It's a
to
really,
cook it.
really simple way to cook salmon.
Right. And then Melissa's here. Hello, Melissa. And I think Melissa likes your haircut.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad you noticed. It's a little up top.
Looks even better from the back.
Yes.
I never know how it looks from up top. That's the hardest problem I have.
Okay, what's that cutting method called? I know there's a specific name for it.
So this is basil, fresh basil. We're going to garnish with our ratatouille. And so what we're going to do is we're going to basically wrap it up here, and this is how we're going to julienne, right? This is a very traditional way of just going sort of almost paper thin here.
Yes, it's almost mesmerizing, like meditative, to watch that type of cutting.
There you go.
Because I can't do it.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So
It's
that
a little slower, yeah.
that is our
Right on
julienne.
top, beautiful.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. So should we wrap it up?
What about the egg?
You want to do the egg?
Yeah.
All right.
I've been waiting for the egg.
Waiting for the egg. Huh? All right.
How are you going to make the egg?
Over easy.
Over easy. Wow.
That's how we're going to do it.
Okay.
All right.
So, all of these things are, you don't have to do the egg. You don't have to do the turkey bacon and things like that. You can kind of make this your own dish. If you don't love eggplant, you can sub it out or just use extra zucchini or peppers. All of these are pretty reasonable in terms of subbing things out. But it's good to try.
All right. So,
Okay.
over easy egg. Rule number 1, always crack into something else besides the pan. That's how you avoid the shells in the pan. Very, very important. Rule number 2, traditionally nonstick pan is what you want. That's the key. So we're going to go into our pan here.
All right. Kia and Lynette, thank you for joining.
Right in.
Okay. And Agnes loves to cook,
Awesome.
and she says this all looks very good.
Thank you.
And it smells good too. And we have a question, yes.
Since you put me on the spot, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I heard you can flip an egg.
Say again?
Since
So-
Jenna put me on the spot, I'm gonna put her on the spot. I heard she can flip an egg.
There you go.
So Chris
That's
wants
what
to
I
see
heard
me
too.
flip an
All right,
egg.
Jana.
I'm going to get out of the
All right.
way.
Yeah. There you go. That's 1.
All right, guys. The next egg I am flipping. So let's just keep our fingers crossed.
We'll get you a
That
fresh,
was good,
get you a
Chris.
fresh pan here.
Okay, now I'm nervous. I don't usually touch the food, but I'm happy to. Okay, and Carla joined us. Thank you, Carla.
All right.
Okay.
Fresh pan.
What about you? Do you cook? Do you flip eggs?
Yeah.
Okay. I
There
think
you
we're.
go.
I think we're.
Actually, what I like flipping is crepes. But those might not be very
Oh,
Love crepes.
You could do a bariatric friendly crepe with a little bit of a banana and 2 eggs, and then just mash it up very thinly.
Your egg.
Okay. Am I doing this too?
You're up.
Okay. I'm doing everything.
What kind of nonstick surface is that? I've never seen.
Oh, this is.
Is it a copper?
This is a pan
Like
of
a
fame.
copper? Is this the one from TV? The TV commercial?
Yes, this is. Actually, no. This
Yeah,
is an
I've
as
seen
seen
it. Like at 2
on
in the morning.
TV.
Those commercials you see.
Of course not. Whatever do you mean?
You're not sleeping.
There's definitely no way we went to a Rite Aid and picked this up last minute or anything.
So, if you remember from one of the previous episodes, we forgot a pan, and
By we, she
our-
means me.
Yes,
Over here,
and
this
our,
guy.
Oh, you know what? And our sleeve chef had to run out and get it. Okay, make sure that it's not sticking at the bottom beforehand. And then we are going to, is it too hot to hold?
You can if you want. Be careful.
A lot of oil.
Hey! Well done.
Thank you.
Look at you. All right. Very nice.
All right.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thank
look
you.
at that. Well done. Very nice, Jenna.
Yes, well done, but not well done.
And
Over easy.
there you go.
Okay.
For the win.
Thank
All right.
you.
So should we wrap her up here?
Okay, and then Melissa, I've recently fallen in love with avocado oil because of its flavor and high smoke point. What are the professional thoughts on it? Well, I'll say from a nutritional standpoint, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, and I think, Melissa, we've definitely talked about in terms of all oils being, kind of the same fat content in a way. There's some that are a little more, a little less, but overall in general, 1 tablespoon for every oil, okay? Avocado oil is fine, especially because of the high smoke point. I would say if you're cooking something really high, you were mentioning sometimes you don't like to use olive oil.
Yep.
It's just
It
too,
does.
it
Yeah,
gets too
so-
smoky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So interesting thing. So when you hear high smoke point, they're actually referring to basically the temperature with which the oil will ignite. How do I know this? Because I've done it.
That's scary.
That's the actual smoke point is when they hear. So that is actually going to impact basically the quality of the oil itself and how
Okay.
it breaks down and etc.
Yeah. Have you ever used avocado oil?
I never have,
Dr.
actually.
Friesen? No?
It sounds really
So
expensive.
it would probably
It's,
be
I assume it would
it
be.
would probably be great with vinaigrette. is
All
my
right.
Usually I use olive oil for things when I'm not cooking.
Yep.
And usually I'll use other oils for
Yeah,
cooking.
I try to use extra virgin olive oil if I'm cooking general dishes. If I'm using, Asian inspired dishes, I'll do sesame oil. That sort of
Right.
thing.
Yeah, just
switch over.
different flavors, different oils.
Absolutely.
And I have some cheers for me for flipping.
There you
You're
go.
next. Are we not doing it? Are we
You want
leaving
to?
it too?
We can.
Toasted sesame oil. Have you
Yes.
tasted
Ooh,
that?
toasted sesame oil is
It
great.
doesn't take very much, but that tastes.
No, it
Oh
doesn't.
no,
so good.
Amanda is stuck in a parking lot with a dead truck battery, but she has Slave Chef to watch.
There you go.
That's great.
Helping her get through.
Okay, I wish you good luck. And Ricky came on. Thank you, Ricky. And Carla's just asking what's being prepared. We have a beautiful ratatouille, which
Yes.
is just a combination of different veggies with some basil on top. What else do we have?
So we've got our salad lyonnaise. So this is a very, very traditional French salad. It is a warm salad served. So it's a baby arugula, baby spinach, served with a warm vinaigrette of extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of Dijon mustard, and some sherry vin. And then we serve that and top that with some sautéed shallots, turkey bacon, topped it with some sautéed chicken, and a freshly poached, freshly over easy egg.
Mwah.
Delicious.
Very good.
Magnifique.
All right, so
All right, you
Are
are
we
up,
re-
good sir.
yes, okay, good. I can't wait.
Oh,
Oil in our
well,
pan here.
Okay, so Dr. Friesen is going to be flipping our next egg, and we have a
Egg.
question from Chris.
With different meats. do
Did you want
use-
a-
do you use any nutritional
Oh,
value?
yes,
along
use
with
the real
cooking?
So, we did get a question about losing nutritional value the longer that you cook meats.
I'll take it.
Typically, you actually might get it to a lower fat content because some of the fat might drip off.
Right. So as you cook muscle, which is as you cook meat, so basically in all meat, you've got two parts, right? You've got muscle and you've got fat. You've got protein and you've got fat. And so as you cook, like if you take if you go out to a restaurant and it says 8-ounce steak, well, if you cook it well done, it's going to be about 5.5 ounces because all that moisture and all that fat has been rendered out of it. So it's just going to be nothing. It's just going to be fresh protein, basically. It's going to be much, much smaller. Versus you get it medium rare, medium rare medium, then it'll be closer to 7.5 ounces, the traditional weight. Look at this.
Okay, great question. Thank you. Okay.
Actually, it's a great pan. I don't know.
It's a good pan. He might go and
What
get
can
it.
I say?
It's a right egg
It's like I
pan,
know a thing or
everyone.
two about this. Hey, very good.
Very good.
Nicely done, nicely done. Look at that.
Is it ready?
We are, yeah. Please go right ahead.
All right, I think that we're going to be taste testing
Yeah.
our dishes now.
All right, perfect. Look at that.
So we
Oh,
will
beautiful.
have our taste testers up.
Yeah,
Nancy
please.
and Chris, you guys can come on up. And we will, we have some smaller plates there for the ratatouille.
We do.
Okay,
Perfect.
very good.
Is that all right? Slide everybody over.
Okay. Does everyone eat egg or? Okay. I can have that. That.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
You nervous about the eggplant?
Don't be, it's delicious.
Which one is that?
Okay, there you go.
Works for everybody.
Works
Work.
for everyone. Okay.
Work.
I'll move over
Work.
here.
Jana, would you like a fork?
Yes, please. I always have to try
Start
everything.
dishing up our ratatouille here.
And this is my mother's favorite part of the show. She always loves to watch everyone trying the food. We once did not try the food after we cooked, and I got in trouble for that.
Well, yeah. What's the point of cooking
If you're not going to try it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So which one did you try first? Just the lettuce? Mm-hmm. Very nice.
It was delicious.
Okay, good, good. And then we have Ricky said looks great.
Thank you.
Carla wants the pan. Get ready, and you can get that pan. It can be yours.
Can I try one?
Please, go right ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and Agnes has the pan.
There you
and
go.
She loves it. That's fantastic.
Ratatouille, anyone?
Yeah, yeah.
For yourself? Jana,
you.
for yourself?
Okay, I would love some. Thank you. Okay, so
Chris?
Chris,
Yeah.
I want you to try the eggplant first.
Okay.
I typically don't micromanage how people eat, but I'm very excited.
Okay, I'm getting it.
Okay.
But this is awesome.
Mm.
Light,
Garlicky.
fresh, delicious.
Mm-hmm. If you like garlic, this is great. Very fresh. Very good summer dish, especially outside. And you can even grill some of these veggies if you wanted to.
With some rosé.
With some rosé if you're 1 year out.
Well, after 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is thank you for
After
serving.
You're off the hook.
Thank you.
And then we have some of the lettuce over there, some of the salad. This is absolutely beautiful. And there are so many health benefits of having all of these different veggies and the fresh herbs and keeping the skins on like we talked about. And then we have really, really nutrient-dense salads with all of the different proteins in there. All of these are pretty low calorie, very high protein, very low carb. So you're basically winning with all of this. All
Agreed.
right, good.
Yeah, agreed.
So I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight, and I want to give a huge thank you to our 2 taste testers, Chris and Nancy, and a very special thank you to Dr. Friesen for coming
Yeah,
on.
thank you very much.
All right, and
My
if you have
pleasure.
any questions, if you want the recipe, please go to the Facebook page. Let us know. I want to say thank you to WMAR, right?
Absolutely.
Anyone else? The marketing
I think
team?
we've got everybody.
Our sleeve chef? All right, thank you guys
Yeah,
so much for
thank
joining
you
us
so much, everyone.
tonight.
Really appreciate it. Have a great evening.